So what's the UK average memoha? Now when your car akwenshie bi enyo fo. Anase adokita fo ahwe wa wan hwe yi. Right claim betumi aboa wa ma wagisi kan pimpin bebre. Ya wo UK a lawyer for etitru anase ekuku damfo a betumi aboa wo akonko ama. Kosi se we sika no beba. Eno ani se wo be ko www.rightclaims.co.uk. Now wa feel wo form. Wo betumi afre yen wo number ya ewu figure ase. Say a cancel of flight. Anase when your flight delay for over don shremensa. May trek 3 hours. Enko bebia. Right claims betumi aboa ma ahanso wagisika. Right claims. It's as simple as that.
Green Select Glucometer from Costless Ventures. Safidi kitwaya etimimpo eshow botomi eboa ma uhunu sugar level abribia. Wana wo diabetes anayare hodwa emma sugar level. Esote wo brano no. Safidi ebe bo nka ye baby bia wo bia no wada won so akohu doctor ntem. Na wo dry betimi ma blood sugar no aye pepepe. With Green Select blood glucose monitoring system, you get your test results in 5 seconds. And you 5 seconds per now results are ready. And it's suitable for persons of all age. Na ne bo so de Call Costless Ventures now on 0205-915-315. Green Select Glucometer, the best. This advert has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Okay, so the action on radio is what I give to you anytime you see me sitting like this here on Sammy Flex TV. And because I know sometimes you are so busy during the day, you don't even get time to listen to what we do on radio, I have introduced this particular segment called the highlights of Showbiz Agenda. Here what I do is whatever we did on Zylofon 102.1 FM on a special program called Showbiz Agenda, I give you all the highlights. I know you might not have time to listen to all the 3-hour program, so what I do is I come down, call my team, and we say that people would want to hear this, they want to see this, we piece them together for you to enjoy. It is called the highlights of Showbiz Agenda. So today's episode is going to give you one of such, taken from Zylofon FM's Showbiz Agenda. All that you have to do is to sit, relax, enjoy, and still get the moment just as it was live on radio. I did this with my team led by Digital Rasta Currency, Richie Flex, Ya Lapiji, Nana Reagan, and Team Dodo Solomon, aka Chamo, and MC Berima as well. Now you have to relax, and anytime you want to know what is happening on Zylofon FM, this is what you have to do. Subscribe to this channel, Sammy Flex TV, get all the updates, and even if you're not able to listen to what we do on radio, you get a chance to watch it here on Sammy Flex TV later. Enjoy the moment, and you can always share your comments with us here on the show.
That's what we're going to do. Finally, we have Baba Sadiq and Rick, aka Ricky Tennyson, joining us for us to finalize the discussion on the 3Music Awards. So far, so very good. They are enjoying all the accolades, and we are still looking at some of the details in there where we are talking about the organization, the categories, and the winners, and we'll be continuing with that with them. Guys, welcome though.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Sabi. Thank you.
Much too much. Ade.
Charlie. Na ye geji weather samna ye kos na ate
weather bay
you are the meteorologist
ba Kumi Guitar has a new song with Shatta Wale. Let me drop that before we start talking. Say again.
Mr. Ricky down for Shatta Wale.
It's only Ricky fine. Hey
Ricky.
Yeah.
I'm can't jam you.
Odru Miami crowd man the message. Guitar Shatta Wale. They have started with the controversies in the studio already. Sadiq, what are you saying? No. You guys are figures of argument.
You know what time you say me I don't like. I'm tired. Arguments.
Now you're tired. When Ricky is doing his argument, he comes in with all the energy.
No, but it's very Ricky thing. I think it's our team and our circles. I think the team have always been big about thought leadership. And so it be that orientation. Yesterday, me and Rudy, we spent like 2 hours, me and Rudy arguing about something. But guess what? It be out of such an argument that the idea for the Osibisa tribute crystallized.
Came. Wow.
So it's often within the team and the circles, there's consistent back and forth. I won't call it argument. I think that it's us usually analyzing and brainstorming and thinking through things. But because we're all opinionated, and there seems to be a certain level of insight, knowledge, and experiences, having been doing these things for some time, everybody can be very anal about your point, and it will be stretched further. Yeah. But within the team, it's encouraged. It's very healthy, and everybody that we grow, we groom. Okay, it's always like that.
Okay, so I'm sure we will still leave this argument to stay unattended to for now, because we have an agenda and we have some few minutes to clear that agenda. The argument we were having off air was is this song a high life song or a fusion? And as it stands now, a section of the studio thinks that
Ricky had some long arguments.
So Ricky, you think it is not a high life song? It is not a high life song, and Otin says it's a high life song.
It's because of the brand associated with it, and that happens to how we categorize songs a lot of the times. Because once we've heard Kumi guitar on, Yana Jane say high life. And I can tell you for a fact that if we should put Kumi guitar on, I think this would do even Kumi guitar a lot of good, as part of promotional strategies for the song. If you put him on now and you want to engage him, and he has to be honest, he will tell you that, Charlie. The last time he was even explaining to us how he produces his high life beat, and this one is nowhere close to.
But you know why, for instance, it would immediately draw the inference for connections to high life? It would not be because of the Kume guitar alone.
But there were some strengths in there.
One of the major elements of determining high life are the various different guitar strings that's identified to here. And Otin pointed out this particular, and it was very dominant. Even they did the background. It be the kicks way to override them way. Now you look at them. But again, one of the things you can judge beyond the thing is the singing, the vibe of the singing. He sang high life.
And Shatta did raga.
So that's why you look at it and say it's a fusive song, like it's a fusion.
So
it wasn't high life. So you see, we did some analysis of back then a number of the things they called high life, right? And that's why when the elders protested, they put a tag to it and said contemporary high life. Just for you to identify that, okay,
this is different from the old high life we used to enjoy.
Yeah, it has traces. So once it has traces and it's not as exactly as what we are used to or the elders created. Look, a number of the songs they called high life then was not high life. Keki Kabobo. The raga, they say high life. You go plenty. Look, there's funky.
And cool.
There's pop. CK Man, the funky high life classics of the late 70s, right here in Papa Yankson. Listen to it. It be pop, because that was the era, and you realize that every generation and every era, the on-trend songs that goes global are able to impact, except for people that want to stay artistic, but it influences a lot of sounds.
Okay, guys, I'm sure let's go straight to business. Yesterday on this same platform, you guys enjoyed all the glory, the accolade from my panel members. They were so and extremely happy for what you guys achieved at the Grand Arena. And today, yes, we've still given you the accolade, the glory, but then there are some key areas that we also want to look at beyond the glory and the accolades. And it has been about the award winners for some categories and maybe how these decisions were made. So Otin has put out a certain picture, and since you guys are here, first let's clear it. Is there any deliberate attempt by the 3Music Awards Board to bring out new lots? Is there any deliberate attempt like that? Because Otin seems to think that, okay, that's what he sees. That, there is a deliberate attempt to bring out new lots. That's why Larruso would win in the midst of Shatta, Wale, Stonebwoy, Samini, Raskuku, and all those arguments here and there. So you are here, you and Ricky, and I'm sure you guys are two of the greatest on the 3Music Awards organization and the board. So what can you tell us first to start with?
No, I don't think that. There's a deliberate attempt to shine the spotlight on emerging stars over the more established stars. And if you realize, it's purely based on your work and activity within a particular year. Mind you, excuse me again. Mind you, awards are nothing without the mechanics of it. There's the mechanics that to a large extent would detail or indicate the directions of each and every category. You know, and so it will definitely start with the category definitions. Each and every category has a definition. You know, and it differs from category to category. You know, and so it's on the basis of that the research team will do the initial categorization that will come to the board. All of these things are mechanics and processes that have been put in place to ensure that we arrive at a certain logical conclusion of an award, because there are competitive elements of it. You know, so what we do is to create a category definition, for instance, organize and put together the board, create the process for both the board, academy, and the public to vote, find a coalition partner to collate it, and at the end of the day, we just do the announcement. And put together the events. Okay. And part of what we've consistently, unconsciously done is to not have any levels of control or access to it. So you recognize that at the board level, we don't have a vote. At the board level, you know a number of times where you're making a point. Like, board, if you take a decision, my face make pink. You say something, the boss say, hey, Yusuf, keep quiet, you don't get vote.
You don't have a vote, yeah.
You know, but for the right reasons. We have to create those mechanics and everything. You also recognize that the back end of the voting, you know, we don't manage it. The board put together a committee with Obed in charge to run it. So the board has control and knows exactly some of these things other than us. And it's not in our favor to have to do that. But then again, I've seen the commentary about it. There's nothing wrong with creating opportunities or creating a funnel for new emerging stars to shine, particularly on the bigger stage, on the event itself, not with regards to the categories of the awards. But and I know the argument that was made. If last year, for instance, a certain big artist, and if we need to be careful, we don't allow the fanaticism or the top of mind of a bigger talent to sort of take your mind away from the hard work some of these young guys put in. Sometimes that's a mistake we do. An artist can have a big top of mind. Big top of mind. When you say close your mind, call top 3 or top 2 artists, you mention his name. It doesn't mean the year and the review, the things that falls the top of mind was heavier than some of these young guys. It's just that he's got a top of mind. Okay. But when you look at it year in, year out, some of these youngsters, and for a lot of us that also use chat metric and all of that, Charlie, the numbers of these young guys daily, weekly, monthly, it'd be amazing. So if you don't put in the mechanics that will help you arrive at a very conclusive, like logical conclusion in terms of the awards, right? You may be just measuring the top of mind and using that to overrun some of the hard work.
Okay, so let's look at the Reggae Dancehall Act of the Year. This is about activities of the artist here. How impactful,
most outstanding, and dominant.
Yes, in the year and the review.
So activities. So there's a percentage of it. What did we do even at the board? I think that we did. No, at the board when we did the permutations, when we put the boards together to get them to be part of it. You know, there's a permutation at the board we use, what they call the science and data. You know, but understandably, you need to understand that there's a reason why it's often said that every nominee is a potential winner. You know, of course, not all nominee will be at par with each other. Exactly. You would have one nominee whose work is beyond this particular one and all of that. But at the end of the day, they are all nominees and stand an equal chance to win. Then there are other parts of it that will require or that will enable them to win, which is the board, the academy, and the public. You know, so at the end of the day, when these things come in and there's a results, we just announce them.
I see.
So one of the things what we've done is to ensure that none of the people within the executive team of 3Music have any control whatsoever with the process and the mechanics. Even our category definitions, and you know when we go to the board review sessions, for instance, you've got to push it to the board. And there's been a number of times the board will knock it off. Look, you know, we spent 2 days.
Every word
we spent 2 days pitching to the board to allow us to create the and that's in our case, everything must be approved by the board to include the alternative song of the year. It was a difficult sell.
A voting and a re-voting.
We had to do a vote and a re-vote at the board.
And a re-vote.
So the way we work is that beginning, so for instance, after this event, we're taking a break, but when we come back by next week, we do the post-event analysis. We put together a document detailing every element of the event from last year to this point, internally, obviously for internal engagement and even for the board. And then take the feedback and the criticisms, crystallize it into proposals for next year. And then we go to the board review. The first part of the board review is to assess what had happened the previous year, the various different elements of it, and then the proposals. So when we got feedback that one of the first few people that made a strong case for removing the best rap performance and expanding it to look at the rap-based activity of a rapper, for instance, has been Hammer. And we thought that Hammer's feedback made sense.
Lost logic,
we took it to the board, back and forth. The board says, okay, women, it's fine. Go ahead with it. The number of categories, previously last year, the board declined our proposal to include EP of the year. And again, this year, they nearly declined. We went back and forth on it. So one of the things we have done is to take ourselves off that control because of the plenty talkability, and we don't want to be distracted because we've always had a bigger vision in terms of the award itself and the organizations of it and the whole operations of it. Charlie, you don't want to get involved in those particular parts. Leave it for the board to run with it. At the end of the day, when the coalitions
Ricky, would you want to add something there? Here we're still talking about how Larruso was able to achieve more activities than the rest of the guys here to win the Reggae Dancehall Act of the Year.
Yeah, well, Sadiq said something about top of mind for these top talents, and it's true. A lot of the times we don't take critical, look, or we don't make critical assessment of whoever is also a part of the category, what their activities or what their role or their various the various elements that has actually contributed to them getting there. So when I heard the arguments going on in the studio, I was like, Charlie, guys, these guys know that like 6 months ago Kili hit 1 million views. 1 million streams on Audiomack. Gidem also hit 1 million. This for someone who is relatively new, so it tells you how impactful the song is. He was actually on Afro Nation. That's Larruso. He was on Afro Nation. There was a concert by
of Stonebwoy. So
but it also is.
He performed on the wings of Stonebwoy.
There was also a DJ Khaled concert that he did.
Yeah, I think Eden mentioned it.
From Milan and all of that. He alone had like 2 or 3 songs in the reggae dancehall song category. Gidem and Kili. So if you've paid attention to the guy's activities or his works, and not just letting the big names blind you, you realize that Charlie, some work go inside. So
the top of mind is there. If you lose God,
you'll be swayed.
The top of mind, because the 3 top artists, they've got some massive top of mind, and they've got a strong fanatism that are whipping everybody into line. It's a strategy. I'm a politician as well. We use it in politics, where both NDC and MPP, you see the way we come in numbers, we coordinate it. You go into the groups and everything and say, yo, going on this path, and you go it. So we understand that. Once they have that, it's almost become political by all means. So if you don't develop the thick skin as a board, or you don't strictly stay on the merits of the category definitions and the mechanics, you may be easily swayed and you may overlook the hard work some of these young guys are putting in to grow. And it's an undeniable fact that within the last 1 year, there's been a wave of new stars come up. Coming up and really doing well. And their numbers and their contracts they're signing and their attention. It is not for any reason, for instance, that Empire will zero in and want to take in what's the guy's name? Y'all talk and Kitty. It's not for nothing. Look, the Larruso deal that is coming will blow everybody away. But maybe because we also we consult a lot for a lot of these digital platforms here in West Africa, we kind of know some of these things. But if the top of mind of some of these top 3 and the strength or the fanatics or the activities or the fanatism could easily, and sometimes as well, it is a clear attempt to whip you into line. So if you don't really stick to it,
Sadik, let's look at this as well. I'm looking at some of the issues that are out for discussion. For instance, Digital Act of the Year. Once again, there are some hue and cry out there why Gifty Adoye would win over the names there. And I don't know if there is any...
yesterday somebody said, again, top of mind, somebody immediately trashed it. You told him that, hey, relax. If you had weekly and daily, the numbers she's pulling,
I have been watching
data,
that.
it's numbers.
Yesterday she even did a live wisdom to celebrate.
So
to say thank you.
Like I said, unima, or you haven't taken your time. That's why it takes time. When we're coming, we're listening to it and look at me and laugh because we've done this. It's almost like a simulation. We've done this debate internally again and again and again and again. So almost one time everybody's having it and highlighting some of the issues that have come up, and we've knocked it down, and have a perfect analysis for it. We just smile and say, look, the argument we make So that's it. I think that what has come out strongly, and I understand. I think that give it to him. Amirado has come up very strongly last year. His activity and the innovation of it, stood him in an equal chance to win it. Very strong guy, rapped. What he did and the innovation and the consistency of it was very solid. But I don't think that should also take away the activities or what a Gifty Adoye or check the Ohima Messi. Even me, I didn't know the Ohima Messi one until it came up at the board. You remember? Somebody pulled in and we checked in and it was like, whoa, is this Ohima Messi's footprint digitally? You will be shocked. But I understand sometimes the noise levels in terms of the push, things could happen digitally. You could be clocking the numbers, but in terms of the narrative on the numbers on the things you're doing,
you might not
could be less. For instance, again, I don't think we've pushed the fact that we got 20 million impressions for the 3Music.
Yeah, I think I saw a post.
Yeah, but we've not pushed it heavily. And even last year, when we got 42k views within an hour, surpassing almost all the virtual shows that had happened, you didn't push it. So but again, somebody may have done less, but the narrative is bigger. So sometimes people have got to be very, very careful. But it's a given. It's a given that people would raise some numbers.
I don't know if you remember when we were trying to guess between ourselves who the most streamed female act would be. Unanimously, we were all like Wendy. All of us until
the data came.
The data.
and realized that is that Hamilton.
Yo, we're all like, oh, it be
Wendy.
But
because top of mind, everybody actually Wendy. And the data came. It's like, whoa, then Hamilton. Apparently, the number, some of these gospel people, and also when I work at Boomplay, I realized something. Our Sunday numbers surpassed everyday numbers. Our Sunday numbers that were coming on Boomplay, the streams, it surpassed everyday numbers on the daily. But it's not apparent. And again, let me give you an idea of the narrative thing I was talking about. Do you know in Africa, for instance, the biggest streamed or the artists with the biggest digital footprints are not the Nigerian artists. Far from that. It's the Arabians and the Francophones.
And again, if you go to the...
But who owns the narrative?
Even the Francophone countries.
Yes, the Arabians and the Francophones. But who owns the narrative?
The Nigerians.
So if you don't do a lot of these analysis and pursue it with some of these, and that explains, that's why I said that at the core what you do is the category definitions. If the category definition is not logical or it doesn't make sense, then that's fine. That's a different argument. But if it does, and it's to a large extent directs a lot of the things that comes out, then I think that it's a given. And one of the things I've always told the guys is that once there's a competitive element of it, these reactions will surely come. And when it happens, we take it in good faith, you listen, you take the feedback, you go, the feedback that makes sense, you go, you adapt and structure it, and then see how you turn it around.
Okay, now one issue that also was discussed earlier with my panel members was the discussion on social media, especially industry people who are doing comparison of the 3Music Awards and the VGMAs, and some very, very demeaning to the other brand. Let me be very honest here, to the VGMA brand. As leader of the scheme, when you see some of these things, what do you tell yourself and maybe the industry people, the key people you know, doing such comparison?
Well, for me, I've always maintained that it's a wrong approach to it. A lot of people don't know this. We've always looked up to Yola Iwade of Shatta House and the hard work and the things that he's done. the group at Shatta House and the people, they have been there, done that. I know people would have their own issues with them, but it's in our interest to ensure that the category of music awards continues to have a stronger VGMA to be able to drive that value for industry. It's in the interest of industry to ensure that the VGMA stays stronger, the 3Music Awards stay stronger, the Foresight Music Video Awards stay stronger. All of us in that category stay stronger to continue to deliver value to industry. Because if VGMA, if 3Music see what we did and the value we delivered to everybody that was involved, this is value to industry. VGMA comes, stay stronger, and that's it. It's value to industry. Foresight Music Video Awards, that's it. And that's it, well, it's value to industry. So the points I keep telling to industry is that, no, let's not get it on that particular part. And I've always maintained something when we came in from year one and there was a connections. I said, yes, understandably, people may want to say, because you're in the same category, we'll make the comparisons. But we've always been very clear about the fact that we are looking to chart our own path. So we've consciously and intentionally done a lot of things to differentiate ourselves, with our how agile we are, youthful, and the kind of things that we do and the extent to which we would go, and all of those things. We've been very intentional. But beyond that, we've had massive respects for the VGMA, because for a long time until now, the VGMA has become a reference point and a standard for rewarding musical excellence in the country. So we can't just come up in 4 years and then do something brilliant and then you use that to knock it off. No, it is in the interest of industry to ensure that a lot more stronger industrial initiatives continue to stay stronger, to continue to deliver value to industry. And that's the more reason why for us would continue. And even at the back end, it's look, we did it at Grand Arena. Who owns Grand Arena? Yola, you are there. He owns Grand Arena, and I'm sure if he was not driven by that, so that there should be a certain sense of, and that's why I say thought leadership in industry is very good. There should be a certain sense of, we are doing our own in our small units to enhance industry and deliver value to industry. VGMA is doing, we need to support that as well to deliver value to industry. We're doing, because at the end of the day, the overall strength of industry will be on all these things that are in the value chain, and not that because of 3Music. Yes, we may have done well. It's a lot of pressure both for ourselves ahead of the year, but it shouldn't mean that. It shouldn't warrant demeaning comments to the VGMA. They are still, don't forget that, and I still want to drum that home. That's still the reference point when it comes to rewarding musical excellence here. Okay. We're also doing our part and chatting our part, but it shouldn't warrant any demeaning comment to the VGMA. I
see. Ricky, would you want to add a bit to it? Okay, that's okay there. Now, one thing I want us to look at is, earlier we were talking about it same way, that maybe this year, because we did not have audience in the auditorium, you guys were able, you had enough time to prepare for this. If next year we are able to have audience in an auditorium, are we going to do it like we did it this year? Or are we now going back to everything on the stage kind of
setting? I wish I'd brought my notepad or my book. You would have realized that whatever we planned and filmed for was actually initially meant for an audience.
Really?
Yes.
Even if there had been audience?
Yes, you could check it with Tony Tometi when we engaged him. But check it, look, there was a whole call about the rain part.
And Sadiq, do you think they would have gotten the same feel knowing that, okay, we are in the auditorium, Medical is performing and we are not feeling his presence on there. We are rather watching him on the screen.
No, guess what? You realize that at 3Music Awards, year in, year out, been dropping these things and doing these things, even with very, very less resources. I mean, see that the whole Shatta Wale, we've always been trying to innovate. The leaders of the new school performance you saw had always been a constant feature of the 3Music Awards. If you speak to Obi and Ponsa, he will tell you Flavor Room concept started in 2019 and we couldn't actualize it, and then he came in last year and then we brought it this year as well. So if you speak to Tony Tometi, for instance, and David Nikose, he'll tell you when we started the discussions last year, the thinking was that it was going to be safer for us to get audiences and then be able to curate these experiences for the audience. As of last year, myself and Tony Tometi were talking about, we thought we were going to have Kwame Eugene, and we're talking about a rain drops, and we watched a lot of shows. Look, I kept telling people that you think the American shows are kick-ass, you think the UK shows are kick-ass, forget. Take a look at the South Korean shows. 2019, we nearly flew that guy from Netherlands, the screens guy, to come and provide. We've always been wanting to push the envelopes, and also because of the exposure and the network we are in. Of course, I mean, we did Afro Nation here. There's a network available to us, of people that could, the people that could really be able to deliver those experiences. And so when you look at my sketchbook, we got an idea from one of the Korean shows. What show said that? I write them down where they look at me and say, Sadiq. Nadia, what draw it? It was car. I said, we go do them. He said, you talk there. I said, we go do them. So we started. So I engaged Tony Tometi. We started to look into it. Said, okay, look, the leaders of the new school, don't forget the leaders of the new school in the ways he came back to back from year one has always been like that. They come in back to back performances like that.
I remember the Kwame MP era.
Back to back performances like that, and they all come in with different approaches. So the idea was build different sets and build different, and because we knew we had access to a bigger venue, Fantasy Dome or the Grand Arena, we wanted to build different sets, just that it was relatively smaller. Different sets, light it and block the light. So the moment you are done with this light goes on. We're done the simulation with Samson, the lights guy. The 3Music Awards takes a longer time to plan. So by now, I know, typically the idea is always the fire starter. Charlie, what are we going to do next year? Charlie, we could think about that. That be a deal. A day today, no, it sent me some link. It sent me some link, say watch. And I know, say they bring my mind to it because he knows that he always has to get there. I have to simulate it in my mind. But often we'll start like this, dilly dally, just around August thereabout, it kicks in, they will start to plan. You start to pull everybody together, calling everybody, say, look, this is a big vision. We're looking to do A, B, C, D. This is the idea we're having. You were looking for this from you. You would need you to think around A, B, C, D. Ask Tony Tometi, the times we will call them. At the figure light bulb moment on a Sunday, when everybody there, I pick phone call and say, Tony, where you there? Say, house, Charlie, we'll go for meeting an hour. I won't come to the studio there. Because the way the thing they come, call AD, make you live there. Call Ricky. Call Dave, say, Ali. Dave will call him Ali. Ali, where you there? Say, Charlie, moku meet for Tony. Now. Then we go, then we meet. Say, Charlie, there's this idea we're thinking. We're thinking about this. Typical Ali. Ali, he likes it big. Ali, if it's not big,
he doesn't.
They kick him.
Yeah.
Once it's big,
that's when he's moved.
Hairy, audacious, go, Ali, count him in. He go say, it's like, yo, let's do it. And step the guy. Before what I didn't put, before you go hear the thing, say, once you start talking, you say, Sadiq, don't talk too much. It is possible. Let's go. So this was actually the thinking was for a live audience.
Wow.
Yeah, we wanted to really try it. So we and Tony were discussing how we're going to do the tracking, how we're going to, and there was some element of it that we did on Afro Nation. So if you realize Afro Nation, set after set, you realize one set leave, the other artists they come, like seconds, the set change. We're wheeling it. The wheels all day, the office there for Rudy in there. We built the wheels, and the set, different set was built on the wheels, the DJ set and all of those things. Into where we are, and the guy, Charlie, the white boys work with them, hard guys. The guy they come is shipping cabling, so in cabling, and every little experience, every work we do, the experience they count. So the possibilities you see, because across the team, Rudy has done Trace, MTV, MTV, I did Trace, I did MTG, and we did Rockstar 4000, and there's a wide network of the possibilities. Look, the guy we're bringing from the Netherlands did some show for some Ghanaian guy in Netherlands. What be name? Frena, and the screen works, and they've been on to do for Mr. Easy. Yeah. Charlie?
For the... Yeah.
And David has some boy in his office, John. Give the thing to John, and John go build the CG simulation.
I see. So in short, next year, should we even get a live audience, we are still going to have an experience like this?
Yeah, our quest really is to create... Our quest really is to make 3Music Awards more or less like the Super Bowl of events. Okay. In terms of anticipation, frenzy, out of a box thinking, and all of that.
Okay.
And we keep looking. We keep checking. You can't reinvent the world. A lot of these things that we've done has been done across the world.
Yeah, I know.
We're only looking at it, adapting.
Here in Ghana, we are doing it for the first time.
Yes, finding the necessary connections and the people that can give us that much needed expertise to make it so.
Now, Sadiq, let's
wrap up. But it's a lot of pressure on us.
I know. I know. The last thing I want us to look at is budget and sponsorship. As it stands now, I know you guys have done all the beautiful things in the world that everyone is talking about, but I don't know how you sleep. I don't know how Ricky here sleeps, because I know everyone who contributed
able to sleep.
Everyone who contributed any small thing is now calling Sadiq. My this, Sadiq, my that. We are only hoping this time around no one will go and tweet that 3Music Awards. You've not paid me.
Bro. Now the Twitter give us publicity to my bread.
So what is the future like? Budgeting, sponsorship. How is it like for you guys?
It's always been a difficult one, but we've also been very resolute about creating that showcase, because we recognize that a lot of marketing decision makers want to play it safe. They've got senior management and board to report to, and so in giving off budgets in the things that you want to be able to do, sometimes you want to play safe unless you're able to have some very bold, audacious marketing managers that says, look, you see the vision, let's go. Like the Boom Play one, like TuneCore, what's it called, HD Plus. Some of them will quickly see it and seize the opportunity and say, we want to be part of this history making. Some take some time. The thing about us is that we are also not limited by whether they come on or they don't come on, but we'll move. Today we got calls from some of these international brands that are looking and saying, whoa, we're not exactly looking at majorly activating in Ghana, but we don't mind activating in Ghana and using this to project in other countries. Because that's the thing, they see it. And that's all what we've been about from year one. And in fact, the ways we sell our sponsorship now, it's also a new one, which is, again, it's done across the world, but it's not been here. It's like sponsorship. Everybody, the marketing people, but we are selling immersions.
Okay.
Take a look at the Boom Play leaders of the new school. Take a look at the immersions. Even the flavor room, the value around it, the marketing value around it is crazy. You should see the presentations we shared with some of them. Some will not get it. Some will wait. One of the brands that we bought something fantastic for them for flavor room. It was Sunday before the guy called me and say, "Guy, what was the message? Let me see the exact message the guy sent to me." And then he called. The exact message the guy sent to me. He said, a popular big brand, he says, very good product last night. Congratulations. When I say thanks very much, really appreciate it, then he called and says, when I'm looking back now, I don't know. I think that I missed a very big chance. And I said, don't worry, next year there's always an opportunity. So it's always there. It's always there. So it's difficult. We'll continue to push and continue to this thing, but it's a very, very expensive venture. I know this morning there are a lot of calls that they say we would talk, say we spend 6 million cities. And I said, no. What I actually was saying was that the value of the experience that we created, it could range between that 6 to about 10 million, because it's the value, not exactly the cost. There has to be a value on everything. The fact that take a look at Multimedia's airtime that they gave to us. The airtime value was about 40,000 cedis. When you're looking at the valuation of the event, you will not overlook that value. If Ghana Arena, for instance, Ghana Arena has a daily value cost, and you started setting up from Monday. By Friday, you are done and doing your dry runs up to Saturday, including fuel and all of that. Maybe you got away with the 50% of the total budget, but there's a value of it. And in valuation, you don't look at the 50%, you look at the 100% to make the value. So it's a valuation that enables you to break it down into the various different sponsorship costs.
Good.
So so when we speak about it, we're talking about it mainly in terms of the value. The value is but very expensive. Yes, we may get some concessions. You'll get some concessions, but you won't say that because Sami Bar made a concession for me, the value of Sami Bar and its contribution to the overall value of the project.
You are ignoring it.
No, you need to be able to look at, because tomorrow when you get sponsorship, the person
you would have to
concession will not give you concession anymore. He's respecting the value.
That's true.
So if you undervalue, you have a problem. You know, so the valuation of it obviously is bigger, and beyond the valuation of it, you're looking at the impact of that across close to about 1,000 people directly impacted. The Sibisa tribute performance had how many extras? About 50 extras.
Yeah, those who were dancing.
If you see the teams and you're booking studio for like 3 days, lights, because the lights, you're taking lights from say Django, you're taking it for a day, bro. You start from 9 a.m. and leave at 6 a.m. I call the next day, guy, for pay extra supplementary budget. So it's a lot, and people tend to trivialize it. Mind you, take a look at it from last year, December. Yeah, all the board meetings. There's a valuation.
We have to go for the last one.
Voter hotel. There's a cost when you look at the
to go do the review.
When you look at the
review, you can't do it in Accra. Okay,
so there's a value. There's a value.
We are all hoping for the best.
Exactly.
Some of us, our prayer is that next year we would mention the scheme with a big brand attached to it. So we're still praying for it, guys. Maybe a word or two. Our time is up. As a matter of fact, they did not come early enough for us to do other angles of the discussion, but I think we've had enough. They have been able to convince us enough for us to understand some of the decisions that came out finally from the scheme. Or maybe a word or two to them, a minute talk. Let's wrap up, I beg you.
Young blood, creative minds, ability to make it happen, execution on point. Realize that Mirezi said, where is the funding coming from? Because there is nobody on board. And wherever these monies are coming from, it's not free. It needs to be paid back. So a lot of hard work needs to go through as to how they're going to pay back, because some few months from now, this needs to start
again.
And it's very unfortunate that we do not understand value as Ghanaians. Most of the people in the writing space do not quantify value. If you quantify the time that we invest into making things happen, or people invest into making things happen, you appreciate the value. Because we're sitting on radio talking now. If I was to be in the studio, I would have finished somebody's song, money would have been paid. But I'm sitting here. Right from here, the day is almost gone. Did you quantify that value? Or you thought, when I come on radio, probably I get to advertise myself, so that's it. It's value for value. But then the input value is really what gets everything going.
Okay.
But finally, new age, I believe accountability is very, very important. There is something that every award scheme in Ghana does not do, and that is accountability. We are done. But once they start to put a lot of details, back end details, why Asimesi lost, why Asimesi won, you sit at home and you think you're hearing a lot of Shatta or Stone's video on TV, so they are eligible to win. But this is what the back end says. So it's not about who makes noise, it's about who puts in the hard work. But we need to see, if they make that accountability right now, they will be putting a lot of pressure on people to make sure that you just can't go organize a show, say KPMGC say, so we are done. No. After whatever KPMG or whoever said, I think we need to also see. And it will go a long way to encourage people to know, sir, as much as we're competing with all these big brands, we can work hard at our own corner and still get the recognition, irrespective of whoever we put us in a bag with.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mike's Quest. Let me listen to you any word or two.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic award scheme. Congratulations to all of them. It's definitely about hard work. It's definitely about accountability, and you can see that, you know, they're very transparent. I feel like that's the one thing I'm getting, is that the transparency is there. So absolute kudos to that. And also they're openly paying homage to VGMAs and any other previous awards. So I think that clears up everything there as well. We're looking forward to next year, to how bigger and better it's going to be. So kudos to them, definitely.
Thank you. Adam, Mesa Chatome.
This one I want Sadiq to answer it.
Oh, you are going to ask Sadiq a question. Sadiq.
When are we going to
Sadiq cannot answer a question in under 1 minute too.
The chart. When are we going to see the chart?
I'll have to revert to the board.
What chat?
The back.
The voting.
Yeah, the board.
Oh.
So what was the decision on the board? Sir? The board.
No,
the board
they are not doing.
Yeah,
they are not doing
declined
it. Yeah, the board is not doing that.
I think that it also came from stem from the. I think previously we tried it, but I think it was used mainly for mischievous purposes.
Yeah,
there was some interesting ruling the board gave.
No, they are not doing it in short.
But, okay. Well, let me go on. You were saying that you are no new school and other. It's not about new school, but there was no problem trying to give platform to young budding
on
artists
the main events, like the performances and all of that.
People have that perception because of some of the narrative coming from your end. We do hear you talk about the new school leaders of the new school. There's like it creates a certain picture that it's like you are pushing a certain agenda. Maybe so you should also look at that.
Shouldn't do is that allow people to reflect their own agendas on us. Yeah. The leaders of the new school as a performance category has been there from year one.
Sure.
And every year there's a new crop of people that get opportunity. So year one had Sefa and Co. Year two had Kwamina MP and Co. Last year had Sinap Soul and some of them. Familia and Co. And
so
this year,
some people,
no. It's just a fanatics just being fanaticism.
And also talking about dancehall art. So, Ricky was trying to give some figures to justify it. For me, I don't think I for instance would not buy into that, because if you put all the streams of Stonebwoy and Oga Junction, there is no way. Maybe I'm coming. I'm coming. No, I'm coming. No, they come. You see, when voting comes in, I'm not sure even how many academy members look at those figures before they voted, and even the fans who voted. So when there's voting coming in, at times some of these things don't play in.
I think that what Ricky was trying to do was to justify Larruso's nomination.
Yes, everybody. Yeah, that's what I was
but at the end of the day, once you get nominated, you have to
person won.
Now
he went hard for people to vote for him, or he had real lovers to vote for him.
Yeah.
So for me, the numbers alone, like we say,
no.
It doesn't convince you.
I don't think Ricky was saying it reference to the winning.
And the plaques go, or it be end of year still.
The plaques, no go yet. We need to put in all the necessary details and send it to them.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe they would do it like the UFA, champ, where as soon as you win, no.
All right, our time is up.
It's a whole marketing activity for us as well.
Yeah,
I
know the presentation.
Like you said, people should support all the award schemes to go. I want to say that you should not allow those praises or those agenda or things go into your head, so that you run above your speed or yourselves to go and crash in the future. Go according to your pace.
Kumerica.
Yes, go according to your pace. Where did the plug go to?
Critical. Okay, so interesting. A lot of people don't know this. The whole Kumerica movement, they are the cheerleaders part of it. And when you go to Kumasi, for instance, when you mention the name Kweku Christo and then the Black Rob guys, they call them the Kumasi Tafu, KFC or something. They have some name, Tafu something.
Tafu California guys.
There's a certain consensus and understanding that is the cheerleader boys, the boys that started to run with the whole noise around.
That's true. Yeah.
And so the win goes to them. And the idea behind it is that they have created a movement, and a category definition is strictly not.
So the win goes to the Tafu boys.
Yeah, to them for running the cheerleader movement part of it.
Okay. But is that clear? Because now that you've explained it makes sense.
No, the category definition was out way back.
Okay.
So there's a category definition that came out that strongly asserts.
That's what I was asking. If there's a category definition,
fan base or the movement. The movement is very important. And so I've seen people. Of course, I've seen the likes of DJ Slim try to push together a certain narrative on agenda, but that's a very different thing altogether. They're entitled to it. That's fine.
Thank you so much, Sadiq and Ricky. When we invite you, please come early so we can have enough time to do more talking.